Well, let's go ahead and get started. Lynn, you want to call roll call?
Sure. Director Barringham,
Here.
Director Odell,
Here.
Director Nathan,
He's muted. Eric has to unmute him.
There we go. Here.
Director Poland,
They can unmute themselves.
Okay.
Director Poland,
Here.
President Welty,
Here.
5 present, quorum met.
I got to watch my own mute button. Anyway, approval of minutes, item 2. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 7th?
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5 in favor, none against. Motion carried.
Okay. The next thing on our agenda is the public official comments. Darcy was here. I think she's going to have a few things to say, so let's let Darcy have a minute to tell us about the water district.
Awesome. Thank you, President Welty, fellow board members, and staff. I have a couple of things. One of the things I wanted to remind people is that the board of directors at the Water District chose and elected not to suspend any services or shutoffs, so that is suspended for at least 90 days. We will revisit that on June 1st, depending on what the current conditions are. For those families that may be going through some financial hardships right now, or some of our seniors, we also have an assistance program, a rate assistance program, in which you are given a preferred amount of money to offset your bill. This money is funded through the lease of our water towers for cell towers. So it's not ratepayer dollars that go to fund this program, but it is there for those that may need a little extra support, either ongoing, long-term, or short-term. So if they call the water district, they can determine whether they can, if they're eligible and what steps they have to do. For those of you that may be struggling also, may not need or be eligible for the RARE program, but because we are not suspending or shutting off service, you may still be accumulating a large bill, and we realize that and are willing and able and looking to help you set up a payment plan that's affordable without disrupting your service. So again, I really encourage people that may be having a difficult time right now to reach out to the Water District. Our customer service representatives are available and they can answer your calls. May 7th, we will be having a shutdown on Burning Tree Drive, Canyon Lake Drive South, Pyramid Point Drive, Palma Place, and Bluebird Drive. That's scheduled from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it's for maintenance of control valves and some replacement. So people should plan accordingly. They should have been given notice already. And again, if you live on any of those streets and you have questions, I encourage you to call the Water District directly. I also want to remind everyone that the Canyon Lake Treatment Plant will not be operational this season, so you will not see the lake levels go down as in previous years. We are looking to recommend a contract with a local engineering firm that has worked on the plant for many years to do a comprehensive assessment and long-term operational plan for the plant. So that may look like a lot of upgrades. It may be changing some things around. It may even be moving the plant. So all things are on the table. We're going to rely on this engineering firm to come back with some recommendations that we can maximize the operation of the plant and improve the overall drinking water quality. And then finally, every month I get a presentation from staff that tells us which division is the least efficient. And I'm not happy to report that Canyon Lake Division every month is the least efficient. So I understand people want green grass and beautiful flowers, and I encourage you to enjoy gardening. I would also, though, ask you to please watch for runoff, because the runoff has organic matter in it. It goes directly into the lake, and when you're struggling with algae blooms and other water quality issues, that's a direct correlation to how much runoff we get with organics right into the lake to cause other problems. So water wisely, but just make sure that your sprinklers aren't watering the gutters or your driveway or the car. So if everybody could just make a note of that and make sure to water early in the morning or late at night, that would be most helpful. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions on the board, I'm happy to take that.
Darcy, I have a question. Tom.
Okay.
Just because it's happened to me as a recent experience, and maybe you can help explain to the members so they understand their bills. During the month of, I want to say it was March, we had a lot of rain.
Yes.
So I think I had my lawn sprinklers off for the entire month. And did not have any sprinkling going on, no outside irrigation. And in the same month, I also had an issue with my pool. So I needed to drain a quantity of water out of my pool and then refill it. So I was understanding that when you do that, that you can contact the EVMWD and let them know that you had this unusual usage. So I did that.
Mhm.
And it was, I'll say roughly 5,000 gallons of water. I got a response back that I think I was a little confusing to me, is that I didn't exceed my allocation. So because I didn't exceed my allocation, there wasn't any reason to address the unusual usage. And then when I looked at the bill, I was in both what you call, I guess, efficient use, and then I was in another category called inefficient use. So it made me believe that my allocation must allow for me to be inefficient. Is that kind of the scenario for us up here?
That's not how it's supposed to work. So I'm making a note right now. I'm going to follow up. Typically, though, when you have a wet month and you use something like a pool refill or something that's out of the norm, I'm impressed that you were able to stay within your allocation and refill a pool. So what they may be doing is looking at you were balanced between both, so there was a minimal impact financially.
Right.
But I'm personally going to follow up in the morning and find out why that was, because
All right, thank you.
not a problem. Any other questions?
Okay.
That's all I
Thank you, Darcy. If you want to hand out, you're available at the website, EVMWD.
EVMWD, you can, there's a direct link under board directors. It'll email me directly or call my cell phone at 951-634-9019. I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. On the next question, is there any other officials out there? Any other public officials? I can't tell from some of the cryptic names. So going once, going twice, going three times. Okay, no more public officials.
Dale, have we established a way that people can contact us because all their microphones are turned off?
Eric's handling that. Eric, can you give direction?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I tried to mute my cough and I don't think it worked. Yes, if you want to speak, you can email board@canyonlakepoa.com. And we're watching those emails if they come in, and we'll put them in line for member comments.
Okay, sounds good. I can also see you, so as you raise your hand, I can have the email reread. So some of you I see out there on the screen.
And
Okay.
there's also, excuse me, Dale, there's also a chat function, and you can try to, Lauren, I just got your chat, and we'll give you a chance to make a public comment. So also, if you're in the Zoom here, you can also send us a chat, and we'll try to get you in. It's a little crazy trying to keep up. There's like 30 participants right now, and I have to let people in when they show up. But if we're ignoring you, just wave us down or something.
Okay, thank you. Well, moving on to presentations. I'm going to have a little discussion real quick before the presentations come online. And the question is that a lot of people have been asking us about the beaches and why they're closed and if they're closed and what the POA is going to do about it. Currently, we don't know of any state, local, or city rules or ordinances that stop us from opening the beaches. So at this point in time, we are going to look to opening the beaches in the next couple of days. That being said, you can probably go to the beach tomorrow and use it, but we may still have some of the cones out. We may still have some of the tape out. So please respect the cones and the tape. Don't tear it down. The staff's going to get out there as quickly as possible to get it all cleared out so it looks like a normal beach. Also, as far as the restrooms go, we're going to try to open the restrooms open as soon as possible. They've got to go get keys. They've got to get people in there to clean them. They've got to do all that. So the crews are going to get out, try to get them cleaned tomorrow, may go into a little bit to Thursday, but the beaches will be open for the members to use fairly quickly. comment on that. There is still social distancing rules, so please, if you're going to the beach, stay 6 feet, keep your social distancing rules as far as staying 6 feet away from people that aren't part of your household. The rule in place is still about masks. You don't always have to wear them, but they say you should have them with you. So if you run into a situation where the proximity of people around you gets kind of close, that your mask is available. What my wife does when she walks is she wears a mask around her neck, and then when she gets close to somebody she's walking with, she puts her mask and covers her nose and face. I think that's a pretty good procedure. Sometimes you see on TV, you see a lot of people have their masks hung low because they're out in the parks in the middle of nowhere. That's good. But once you get around where you feel like there's people around, let's try to be respectful of everybody's health and pull your mask on up. So anyway, the strict mask rule has come down. So, but still keep it available. Okay. It's good to see all the new faces out there. I haven't seen them at the more normal board meetings, so it's kind of exciting to have you come and join us. You kind of miss some of the old faces, but good to see the new faces. All right, that being said, we have the presentations. Our next board retiree award. Board retiree award. I think I'm the retiree, but Eric, is this one go to you?
You are, yes. So let me do, first I want to thank Jim Berringham, our board secretary, who, as you know, is also running for another term. But as a board member ends one of their terms, we like to recognize them. And so I'm looking in all the faces. Where's Jim? There he is. Hi, Jim. He's about this big on my monitor. So, Jim, we have this plaque for you. And I really hate having to do this by video, and I'd much rather shake your hand and give you a big pat on the back, but we want to thank you for your service on the board. It looks like we're going to be seeing more of you, but this says, presented to Jim Berringham, Board Secretary, Canyon Lake Property Owners Association, in appreciation of your dedication and outstanding service to our community, 2018 through 2020. So Jim, I look forward to when I can see you and hand you this and shake your hand.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, thank you. Mr. Welty, our board president. The Canyon Lake Property Owners Association would also like to present this plaque to Dale Welty, board president, Canyon Lake Property Owners Association, in appreciation of your dedication and outstanding service to our community from 2018 through 2020. It's a nice gavel. If you ever lose control in your house, you can just rip it off here and use it at home. Anyway, we really appreciate Dale's been on the board for 4 years, and we're going to miss him. You're muted, Dale, but we want to thank you for your service very much, and I look forward to giving you this in person and being able to shake your hand also. So thank you. For,
all right.
You guys, these guys do this for free, and why they volunteer this amount of time. If you ever have been on a board, I have. It's an incredibly thankless job, but everybody should be very thankful to the time they donate to this association. So thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll shake hands maybe in a month or two, so we can go
Hopefully.
out and do that. So
Right.
we're all looking forward to that little bit of social interaction. So the sooner the better.
Dale,
You're
thank
welcome.
you for your hard work.
All right, thank you, Jeannie. Okay, so next presentation is FPC. Who's going to, Steve, you going to run that?
Yes.
Or Steve Schneider? Steve, we all had organized?
Oh.
FPC is going to present, so I think it's Steve.
Lynn, aren't we doing the other one first?
We have the 5-year
Oh,
plan
I'm
at
sorry.
page 8.
Okay.
Can you share page 8? Because I don't have it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, there's Facebook.
Yeah, I'm trying to monitor our live stream at the same time. Hold on.
If you go back to that.
Sorry, what I get for trying to be helpful. Stop share. Okay, let me find the right page. Where did it go? You don't have page 8?
No. If you go to page 8 of your board book.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, you don't have the chart?
It's on page 9.
Okay, well, I have the letter and then the chart.
Correct.
You don't have
So,
that?
I don't believe it's in the distribution copy.
Okay, okay, no worries. All right.
Can you
let's see
share
here.
that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then I believe Steve Liebring was going to speak and share the letter, if that's correct.
That's correct.
Okay. Can
There
you see
you
that?
go.
You can see it? Okay, good. Okay. Okay, Mr. Liebring, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to see you guys. Well, you have the letter right there in front of you, so I'll just kind of read over it briefly just to introduce ourselves. The FPC was tasked back in last summer to prepare a 5-year project plan for each of the reserve categories, the capital reserves, the repair and replacement reserves, and the road reserves. And the FPC was instructed to consult with the members of the Greens Committee and the Recreation Committee to ensure that we had a major list that included their projects. A subcommittee was put together with the Finance Committee and they reviewed the project list. And the results are now that we have a proposed plan and providing recommendations for the various funding levels for this projects. So the projects that were sources that you used were projects from the website that were maintained by the General Manager and Director of Operations. We used the current and prior year reserve studies for the repair and replacement reserves. We used the community survey that we conducted 4 years ago in September of 2016. And we had an independent study done by an outside consultant to help us become a comprehensive and world-class resort community. And then any amenities and other needs that were identified by the FPC, the Recreation Committee, and the Greens Committee. The budget sources that we did was estimates from the consultants that were hired by the POA, the prior or current bids that we have on some of the projects, quotes that we had already received, and our best guess rough order of magnitude on some of these projects that are a little bit more vague. In conclusion, the result we came up with is a task that a 5-year program would include 20 major projects to maintain the existing facilities and amenities over the next 3 years, 6 projects to improve the current roads with necessary repairs over the next 3 years, 32 CIP projects phased over the next 3 years to add or expand the amenities, enhancing the recreational life that is enjoyed by all the residents of all ages here. The program can be used by the current and future boards as a guide in determining necessary funding levels in order to meet the needs of the community. And the program has been developed with the aid of key community members that represent various points of view and varying demographics. So on April 10th of this year, the Facilities Planning Committee voted unanimously to recommend this 5-year plan to the board. It should be noted that it's understood that this is the best information we have today on costs for the projects that we envision. And we look forward to continuing to work with the board to further prioritize and refine the project scopes of work and the project budgets for each of these. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, Steve, I just want to say thank you to the committee for taking on this task and getting it all ready for us to take a look at. So thank you very much for all your hard work and the Greens Committee's work and the Finance Committee's work.
You're welcome.
I just want to echo that, Steve, and say that this is going to provide a very seamless handoff to next year's board. And we're going to be deliberating early on the projects that we would like to tackle next year and the year after, and what it's going to take to get those projects online and get them done. So I really appreciate the work of the FPC and look forward to working with you at this level in the future.
We're looking forward to it too. We want to be there to assist you in any way we can. We have a lot of expertise on this group.
Thanks, the group. It's going to be very helpful for us to sit down and all be working off of one list and be able to correlate, look at a little longer term picture of where we're going to head and how the pieces are all going to fit together. Okay, anything else on this? It looks like we just kind of took a look at where where the committee recommends we head. That's great. We're going to look back now a little bit and look at some major accomplishments from the past. If you're ready. Anybody else have any more questions for Steve, by the way? Okay, we're going now that
Thank
was
you,
kind of
Steve.
where we're heading, and now we're going to look at what we've accomplished. So, Eric, go ahead.
Okay. The board requested that we put together a little presentation of some of our the board and association accomplishments this year, and so we're just going to dive right in here. Project wise, and we'll make this available on our website if you want to read it or go through it. We'll probably provide a link to this in our weekly newsletter, so this will be available. I won't take a lot of time reading it verbatim to you, but I kind of like to go through it. So some highlights on the projects we did this year were the Eastport Block Wall project. That's been an idea that's been kicked around and on list after list for a good decade. And this project provided aesthetic upgrade and much better security and improved sound attenuation. The next phase of this will be in the area here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. We'll be landscaping the slope on the inside of this. This area right here has already been paved as part of the parking lot project. Another project we accomplished this year was installing a propane sales system, propane tank and propane dispenser, and basically we're providing very competitively priced propane within the community for people to refill their barbecues, their heaters, and their RVs. I think it's a very nice convenience, especially for the RVers come home from the desert. We have a dump station that we added last year, so you can come home and dump your RV and fill up your propane. And I think there's a lot of RVers, desert people that are pretty happy about being able to do that here. So we're happy to offer that to the community. It's also, Happy Camp is our least subsidized amenity. And by adding another revenue center, I fully expect that Happy Camp will actually generate real profits for us moving forward. We also sell gasoline there for boats. And so those two things help us generate revenue there. Next thing would be the country club entrance sign, which is another revenue center for the community. We had an old, badly weathered, non-illuminated sign. So this new sign was badly needed. It attracts the members and the public to come to our community and come to our bar and our restaurant and explore outside golf memberships. And it's another way to continually advertise 24/7, another one of our big revenue centers. We also replaced a bunch of docks this year throughout the community, primarily 3 big docks at Happy Camp. Also at the country club, we renovated the men's locker room and replaced all the interior doors. That's a aging facility that we've remodeled quite a bit over the last 2 or 3 years. And since it's open to the public and it's another revenue center for banquets, events, bar, restaurant, and golf, we really want to keep up with the competition and attract new customers. And one way of attracting new outside golf customers is to fix up the locker room, which was probably 40 years old and completely dated, and looks much better now. And we've had nothing but good remarks from people on that. Another big thing we did this year was the small dog park. We relocated it. We completely redesigned it. We have new artificial turf mounds, new walking paths, improved drainage, additional seating, and shade trees. And we've had nothing but rave reviews over this as well. And we look forward to making similar, not exactly like this because it's a much larger area, but similar improvements in the large dog park. A couple other things we've done are monument signage. There's the kind of the finishing touch of the country club parking lot renovation. We redid all the planter areas, have new landscaping. We built a new monument sign and a water feature, and kind of really just finishes off that whole facility. It's had a very nice uplift or facelift over the last 2 or 3 years. And again, this is a revenue center, so we want to attract our own members to want to go there and the public to want to go there. And all of these things have helped our bottom line. Another thing we've done is speed monitoring systems. The mobile units throughout the community have been very effective in providing traffic calming and 24/7 rule enforcement. We also added 4 stationary solar radar signs, and those also remind people without a citation or a photo that, hey, you're going too fast. And the combination of the radar, the mobile units, and the stationary systems have done a really good job at calming traffic and slowing people down and making our roads safer in Canyon Lake. We've also converted to RFID access at all 3 of our gates. And got a few hiccups along the way, but for the most part, for the kind of volume of traffic that we have through here on a monthly basis, it was a pretty good transition. We've also recently upgraded the gate operators to magnetic brand gate operators that their cycle time up and down is faster. They're more reliable. The arms break away in case they get hit. And so that's something we'll also be phasing into slowly. You know, every second counts at the gates when you have the kind of traffic we have. And the main advantage for the POA is that RFID access basically eliminates human error, and we have total control. If somebody moves out of the community, we do go to the computer and we turn their RFID off, and they no longer have access. We don't have to wait for them to come back and bring a decal, and it's just modern technology that we're using to our advantage. Another thing we did this year was North Ski area access. We constructed a new, safer walkway leading to the main dock. This replaced a steep and uneven pathway, and there's a nice picnic area there now, and very nice improvements. It'll let somebody else in real quick. Lauren came back. The parking lot project is by far our largest project that we've done, at least since I've been here, and I think in probably a pretty long time. Beside the pavement project, which we ended up in litigation over, that was done in 2012, I think this is our largest project. And it's a $3.4 million parking lot repavement project. We're about 70% complete right now. This project took about over a year to do the plans and specs and put it out to bid. We're cruising right along. We have a great contractor that's we've been working really well with. And the goal of this project was to redo all 15 parking lots and a large portion of Canyon Lake Drive North. Some of these, the country club in particular and the lodge in particular, were in terrible condition, and it was a time to really update everything, make it more modern, add some retaining walls, add much more additional parking in every one of the parking lots. We have large gains in golf cart parking and handicap parking and regular parking. We made much more efficient use of the space. We have new planter areas. We're also at the lodge, we're doing a ADA concrete switchback pathway down to the rental docks, and a stairway and a walking path all around. And the large, badly needed project. And like I said, we're on track to be complete on schedule. We're 70% complete. The lodge is looking great. Actually, this whole COVID-19 closure kind of worked to our advantage, because you can see we're in the main part of the lodge parking lot right now. And there's not a lot going on at the lodge right now, so it ended up being a decent time to work on this project. So we're excited to get that finished. And another thing that we're wrapping up this week is the pool deck replacement. Basically, the pool and the pool deck and the whole pool area was built 20 years ago. Pool plaster only lasts about 20 years. The pool deck itself had a solar system underneath it, and it wasn't all that well done, and the concrete was starting to fail. The solar system failed a long time ago. The concrete was spalling and cracking. Then somebody put a deck coating or 2 deck coatings over it, and the deck coating was peeling, and we were having to paint it and throw sand in it so it'd be non-slip, and it was really looking terrible. And after 20 years of 50,000 people a year coming to use our pool, it was time to redo it. And so we've taken this year and redone the plaster, redone the concrete. Last year we did all new pool furniture, and finishing touches will be, we'll put some palm tree uplighting and really make this like a world-class resort swimming pool. And I can't wait for this to be done and for us to be able to actually open up this brand new pool facility to our members. Let's see what else. Golf course lake renovation, another large project we have going on right now. The lake was leaking and costing us about $80,000 a year in water. And we expect our 100% return on investment on this project within 4 years. And that's a pretty good return on investment. And it's going to return. This is kind of a key feature of the golf course. And it was looking really bad and had a really ugly, decrepit bridge across it that needed a lot of expensive repairs. And we eliminated the bridge altogether. There'll be an earthen bridge, and we're going to restore this lake to better than what it was, and save a lot of money in the process. So another big project we knocked out this year. A few administrative accomplishments we did this year. We completed converting all of our 4,800 50-year-old member files to electronic. And if you've been into member services, you see rows and rows of empty shelves. And every member file was a good 3 or 4 inches thick, literally with 50 years of plans and citations and photographs and all of that's converted to electronic now. So that was a massive conversion. We're continually updating our website, especially now during COVID-19, to offer more virtual services. Our doors have been locked for since the beginning of COVID-19, and we've never been busier. Our member services people are working nonstop. The phones are ringing nonstop. And so we're doing business as usual, even though the doors are locked. This year, we also finalized the EVMWD lake lease settlement and litigation, and created a whole new process with EVMWD about moving forward about how to approve waterfront and shoreline improvements, a system that works for both EVMWD and the POA and the members. And so that was a process that will be with us for the next 50 years. And it took some time to work that out, but EVMWD has been great to work with. And I just want to say that our relationship with the city and EVMWD have never been better. We're all in this together, and we really are. And especially through this COVID-19 thing, I've talked to the city manager at 10 o'clock at night, and we're, figuring things out as we go. And the other agencies that, we're not an agency, private company, but the agencies that we do deal with have been fantastic. So Darcy, thank you. We also this year are in the final stages of completing litigation for the road construction project, which basically failed. That was done in 2012. We received a large portion of some settlement funds from several of the parties, and we're trying to wrap up the remaining parties to this litigation. We have also completed renewing all the Canyon Lake POA sanctioned clubs this year. We've increased marketing of amenity revenue centers, golf course, restaurants, and happy camp. We're using Canyon Lake Living. We're using the LED signs to market our own amenities to our own members. The members own all of these things, and so we want to, try to remind them and urge them. These are your restaurants, and these are your concerts, and this is your campground, and come take advantage of all of these amenities, because all of them have been improved. We've also updated POA policies and rules. Whoops. We've installed LED signs and message boards to get those messages out and advertise our amenities and important communications. The causeway's flooded. The LED signs were also an important part of making sure that when people come into our community, now that we have RFID in place, that they know what lane they're in. If they're a guest and they've never been here before, there's a big flashing sign in their face. And I know it's maybe not the greatest looking thing, but the kind of volume of traffic that we have, when people come here that have never been here before, it's important for us to tell them when they're 3 cars back, get your ID out. Call the person that you're going to visit and find out what their address is, because all of the delays we have on holidays are because people show up and they didn't know they needed their ID, and they have no idea what address they're going to, and everybody in line behind them has to wait while they figure all that out. And so that was reason number 1 for the LED signs, was to remind those people, hey, this is what it takes to get you in here, and a lot of other communication with our members. Another big thing we did this year was we brought the Marine Patrol employees back in-house. Marine Patrol staff used to work on the Canyon Lake POA payroll. In recent years, we had subbed that out to our security contractor. We thought that to improve service and communication with the members and just make a more relatable team, that we would try to hire that staff and, you know, have some people that maybe live here in the lake and are familiar with the lake and really a little bit more connected to the lake. And I think that's working well. We have much more control over the Marine Patrol staff. And in addition to bringing them in-house, we've also, the first phase of our radar and camera monitoring system, which allows the management team there to see where all the Marine Patrol boats are at any given time, where all of the members' boats are, who's speeding, who's not, and anybody being a flagrant violator night or day. Somebody's going 50 miles an hour down the East Bay at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, we'll know about it. And they shouldn't be doing that. It's dangerous. So that's most of our accomplishments for the year. I think we had another fantastic year. The board and staff have done an amazing job. I think we've accomplished an awful lot. Going forward with our new board, here's a few goals that we've agreed on for the coming year. We're looking to develop, we've already retained a consultant, and we're working on developing an RFP and putting out major road rehabilitation and litigation road repairs to go and fix all those roads that were done in 2012 and that we litigated over and started to recover money on. Now we're building a plan to go back and do those road repairs. And so I know we're going to be working on the RFP. I'm hoping to put it out to bid this year, and that'll be another very large paving contract. We're also looking forward to doing landscape and equipment improvements at parks and beaches. We're going to be building some more monument signs. We've had some struggles about where to put them, but easement-wise, but we're looking at replacing the monument signs at Canyon Lake Estates on Black Horse and Sorrel, and also another sign on the Eastgate Market side of Eastgate. We've also continued to do a security camera installation at all of our common areas. Right now we're upgrading cameras, older cameras and cameras that were missing and needed at the lodge. We are very close to, after a good decade of building the Roadrunner Park restroom, permanent restroom instead of porta potties. And the last hurdle we had to jump through to accomplish that was we went to the city to get a permit for that project, and the city said that they wanted an ADA ramp down to the park because it's an ADA restroom. And so we've had to design the ramp, and we're in process with that. And hopefully we'll get the ramp and the restroom approved this year and build that this year. It's been at least 10 years coming. Same thing with Happy Camp. On tonight's agenda are some playground improvements. And later this year, we hope to retain an architect and an engineer and renovate the restroom there and do some ADA upgrades and just a total renovation of the restroom building. We're also continuing on the development plan and permitting of Sierra Park North and all the improvements that are proposed there, including the pump track. We're also planning on evaluating motorcycle storage and parking at all the entrance gates and common areas. We're going to continue to update policy and rules as needed to continue positive service experiences, and we're going to continue to promote community amenities and services through communications and marketing. And I know that's a lot, but that's what we got going on, and that's what we've been doing this year, and that's what we're going to do this coming year. I know that was a lot, but there you have it.
We got a chat that the Facebook may not be working like it should. Nice thing is I was able to look at Facebook, and we got about 4 minutes out there, but the people on Facebook may not see the whole presentation. So just a heads up.
Okay, hold on. That happens. The last time we did this, for some reason, the stream tends to break up, and hopefully we won't have to do too many more meetings this way, but give me a second. I'll get it going again. It's hard for me to monitor that and the visitors in the chat and that presentation. So
I totally get that.
Give me a second here.
just a quick comment. This will be available, or should be available for review. So if you can't get a
Yes.
chance to see it today,
Yes,
it'll be posted on the web for a while. So
yes.
actually, I think we have quite a great good attendance at this, considering where we're going. But
Have 35 participants right now.
yeah.
Can I just say thank you to Eric and Lynn for putting together that presentation. It's something that we, as the board, were really looking forward to. So I just want to say great job. It really came across very nicely. So thank you.
I'm glad you liked it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lynn and Tiffany did a great job. All I did was edit.
I'm going to share the agenda again. Okay, there we go.
Okay. We're going to start through the agenda items now. I got to make sure my microphone's on. As we go through the items, the members will have a chance to speak on the agenda item only. So please, while we're discussing the agenda, and if you want to put some input, please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and keep your comments to the agenda. After we get through the agenda item, there's a public comment period where if you have comments about something not on the agenda, we'll try to give everybody some time to talk about that. That will also be 3 minutes. As Lynn said, what the methodology for getting assigned is to send an email to you, Lynn. Is that what we do?
Well, it's either an email to the board or the chat box may be easier. I'm trying to catch the emails as they're coming through, but since I'm sharing, I may not be able to see all the emails. So Eric and I are getting the board emails right now. For the comments, I have 2 members, but the chat may be the easiest for the speakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, in your comments, there's really not a period to ask questions on the public comment because the item's not on the agenda. We have to limit our comments back to basically advise you to go to contact the staff or advising the staff to look into it. So just because we're not commenting on what you have to say and not a lot of depth in the dialogue does not mean we're not interested. It just means we are limited to really talking about the agenda items. Okay? So consent agenda items, A through E. Does anyone like to pull any of those?
I would like to pull E, please.
Okay, E's been pulled.
I would also like to pull D.
Okay, so D and E are pulled. Okay, let's vote. Can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items A, B, and C?
Make a motion to approve A, B, and C.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5 in favor, none against. Motion carried for consent agenda items A through C.
Okay. Chris, you requested the D be pulled. Do you have any comments?
Yes, I do. I appreciate the financial reports being printed out and distributed for February and March. Just in reviewing those reports, just to remind you, we have about $5.8 million of revenue that comes in from our various activities and amenities, and $11.3 million that comes through from our assessments. And from the financial reports, we can see that the revenue generated, even with the slowdown the last couple of months, is greater than what we had budgeted, which is great. But there's no indication on these reports about how we're doing with collecting our assessments. And so, Eric, I wondered if you could comment on collecting our assessments for both this year and how the progress is going, how it's looking for collecting our assessments in the coming year.
I'm not sure if Susan is on the call. Susan, if you're on the call, feel free to unmute yourself and chime in. I don't know if she's on. Apparently not. Yeah, all homeowners are billed in full on May 1st, and the revenue amount of $11,347,533 is recognized in the financials at that time. Every month, cash is collected and applied against those open balances. Every month, we analyze the open balance remaining in detail for accounts that are higher than they should be. Accounts are then grouped into different collection categories to determine collectability. From that analysis, we determine if the amount set aside for bad debt expense needs to be higher or lower. And you had a basic question, and I'm sorry, I forgot what that was now, Chris.
I just want to sense, Eric, if we were able to collect our assessments for this past year, and if the pace of collecting assessments for next year appears to be on pace. There is quite a bit of concern in our community about whether folks are going to be able to pay their assessments or not, and I just wanted to get kind of a status report of how that was going.
There is a lot of talk and a lot of concern about people not being able to make their assessment payments. We have offered through extensive marketing, and I'll offer it again now. If you're having difficulties making your assessment payments, call us at 244-6841, extension 315, and we do have a payment deferral program that we can offer. We can work with people to defer those payments until such time that they're more comfortable making the payments. And we've done quite a bit of advertising about that in the Friday Flyer, in our own social media. And out of 4,800 property owners, so far we've had 12 people sign up for that payment program, which is a fairly good indicator that most people are able to make the payments now. Of course, we're going to monitor that. We honestly have no idea how long some of these shutdowns are happening. I've been monitoring the Riverside County Board of Supervisors all day today. There's a lot of talk that they're going to rescind the county health officer's orders. They've been arguing about it in the Board of Supervisors boardroom all day with masks on. Last time I checked, they're still talking. And I would expect that there'll be some movement on that tomorrow. And we're very aware that this is a difficult financial time for people. We put out a press release about our financial condition the other day. It's available on our website. We made it available on social media. We were fortunate to get a Paycheck Protection Program loan. We've lost all the income from our revenue centers. We are going to certainly have some bad debt from members that can't pay. We're cognizant of all these things, and where this is a very fluid situation, changing hour by hour, day by day. But right now, indications are minimal effect to our assessment payments.
So then, Eric, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And there's also concern about spending money out of our reserves, both our replacement reserve and capital improvement fund that are on the agenda for tonight. Given that there's very little concern and that money is already set aside, do you have any concern about spending that money?
Well, our reserve funds are specifically set aside and required for us to set those funds aside by the Davis-Sterling Act, which governs homeowners associations. And every few years we do have an independent reserve specialist come in and analyze all of our assets and estimate a time frame when they think those assets may need to be replaced or repaired. And so we have a pretty large bucket of money that grows over the years that's set aside specifically and, like I said, required by law for us to set aside monies to make improvements or upgrades or repairs as needed. And most of the projects that are on the agenda tonight are that type of project. Repair, replacement, upgrade. When you upgrade something or replace something in a 50-year-old community, the Davis-Sterling Act allows you to make improvements to modern technology or modern design. And those projects come out of, those projects come out of reserve funds, which are totally different than our operating budget and our operating funds, which the operating funds may be affected short term by the COVID-19 crisis. We've done a pretty good job of managing it. We applied for the payment protection program and had to let somebody in. And we got those funds, which will help us over an 8-week period that we were able to keep our 140 employees and their families still receiving a paycheck. So we were very fortunate to do that. We will have some minor fiscal impact on our operating funds, but that's totally different from the bucket of money, the reserve funds that most of these projects come from. There's also another bucket, the capital improvement fund, and those are also monies that are set aside for long-term projects. And yes, this is a massive financial crisis, and we do understand some people are having some troubles, but we also have to continue to do our job, and our job is to maintain this 50-year-old association and maintain our property values and our amenities to be competitive with other real estate or other master plan developments around us, or our property values go down. And reason for an association like this is so that we do maintain all of our assets and all of our amenities, and we stay competitive. And our mission is quality of life for our members, and that's why we do these things.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, and any other comments on D? All right, can I have a motion to approve D?
I move we approve the February, March financial statements.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, 5 in favor, none against. Motion carried for item D on the consent agenda.
Okay, moving on to E. Jeannie, you had some something you wanted to ask about item E?
Yeah, just 2 quick questions. One, is it a standalone contract or is it going to be a change order to the existing contract?
This would be a standalone contract.
Okay, and then because it's standalone, did you get any other bids, or just because the contractor was here already, you thought that was best value?
Best value because the contractor is already in our community mobilized.
Okay, and then the contingency at 5%, do you think that's enough based on the subsurface conditions?
Writing this BAI, felt this was enough. After some discussion, after we had submitted it and it was already published, we feel that we are going to actually get another engineer's opinion, our new engineer that's reviewing all the rest of our roads. That is actually going to cost a little bit more, and I would like to have another 2.5% on top of the 5%.
Okay, because that was one of my questions, is whether this is an engineered solution or not. So that answers that one. So you're asking for a 7.5% contingency on this one?
Correct.
Okay. So, okay, thank you. Those were my questions. Anybody else?
I just want to say I saw pictures of the road. I agree something needs to be done, and I think moving ahead with this is a good idea.
Yeah, I drove by too. It's pretty bad. So I make a motion to approve funding in the amount of $44,056 plus a 7.5% contingency from the road reserve funds, with the understanding that will be a standalone change order, and a standalone contract, and that another engineering firm's solution will be looked at as well.
Second.
We have a first and second. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? 5 in favor, none against. Motion carried.
On to board action item 6.
Dale, can I interrupt for a sec?
Sure.
Lynn, do you have any emails for public comment?
The only ones I have so far are from Diane Whiteside for
Okay, I replied to her.
Happy Camp and LEDs, and then Alex just sent one. Alex Cook just sent one for Happy Camp also.
Right, and we have Matt wants to talk about wave attenuators. So
I haven't kept any on the chat. I haven't been keeping track of the chat.
Okay, when do we want to do those?
During member comment section, well, except for the action item for Happy Camp Playground, we would do member comments during that section.
Okay, but how about wave attenuators, which is a comment specifically related to the 5-year plan from FPC?
Probably during member comments then, because the FPC plan was a presentation. So.
Okay, just helping you remember.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Dale, go ahead.
It's okay. So I put
So
this
then we
on
have
the-
nothing on the, nothing up to date that we need to have public comment on. There's no one who wants to talk about anything we've got to so far.
No, not yet. No, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll move on to board action item 6, which is
Yes.
facility planning committee appointment.
Yes. So I placed this item on the agenda. The Facilities Planning Committee currently has a vacancy on the committee for an alternate committee member position. The committee did receive 2 applications from Bruce Yarbrough and Dwight Johnson. Due to some of the committees not meeting necessarily and or not interviewing, since we have a vacancy and we're going to have another vacancy coming up, staff placed this item on the agenda. So it's recommended that the board make a decision to approve or reject to appoint a member as an alternate committee member contingent upon execution of a non-disclosure agreement effective immediately.
I make a motion that we table this discussion and put it back to the committee for them to review the applicants and to make their recommendations. I would also like to request that we put some kind of advertising out that we're looking for committee members, not just buried on our website.
Any second?
I'll second that.
Chris,
I'd like
was
to
that you?
Make a
Hey, Jim.
subsidiary motion if you
Jim
mind.
second that.
With the knowledge that Joe is about to become a director in the next coming days, it seems that it's inevitable that he will have to drop off that committee. So I was thinking almost the opposite, that we have 2 candidates and there will be 2 positions open. So I would move that we appoint both of the 2 candidates here tonight and just remove Joe Kameshian a few days early from the committee, so that when we go into May 14th, same day as election day, we just have a full committee.
And can I,
Clarification, is that a subsidiary motion, Tom?
I'm sorry?
We have a motion and a second. Is that a subsidiary motion that
Yeah,
you're
mine's a
making?
subsidiary motion to accept both of these candidates right now and just remove Joe Kameshian 10 days early from the committee. So we know he's going to become a director and he will be off that committee at that point in time. So we have, in essence, 2 open spots, as Lynn mentioned. Let's just accept both these applicants and pick one to be the standing member and one to be the alternate.
Do we have a second?
Okay.
Not hearing a second.
No second. Motion dies for lack of a second.
Okay, any other comments on the motion, the original motion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I support Jeannie's motion, and that's why I seconded it, because I think it is important for the committee to reach farther and for the committees to decide who best fits in their profile, because we do need a broad perspective.
Okay. Just one comment to the members is that these committees are open for members to come in and both apply, and if you're not on the committee, you're also welcome to come down and watch and listen to what they have to say. So the committee doesn't go behind a steel vault and the door doesn't click. General members can come and watch and at committee members as they discuss the items affecting the community. So that being said, any other comments?
I just had one last comment. We do advertise regularly for the committees. We have had this one on the list and we've had a vacancy for a while. So, and not every committee makes a recommendation to appoint. Sometimes the board will just appoint. So that's partially why I also put it on the agenda. So
I was going to say, we do routinely advertise in our weekly
newsletter.
Join,
Yes.
join a committee. We, here are the open vacancies on committees. So we don't bury it on the website. When we have vacancies, we actively recruit.
Yeah, wrong use of word on my part. I apologize for that. I just want to see if there's some way we can, I don't know, broaden.
We do, and that's why when we have an opening, we like to process the applications when we have them before people are not interested in volunteering. So.
Okay, so we have a first, second. We had comments. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
I'm sorry. 5 in favor, none against. Motion carried.
You know what, okay. Make sure the members, I can't, in the regular world, when we're sitting, I see members walk up to the table and put their slips down and saying they want to have comments. And so I have a good sense of members wanting to comment. I'm in this world, I'm not used to it. I'm a little bit blind and Lynn and Eric are doing the best they can. So if you feel like we missed your comment, just send a quick email and we'll catch you back up. So, okay, move.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Dale. To the board of directors, that's the best way for us to track it.
Okay.
Thank you.
6.2, Green Committee appointment. Steve, this is your discussion, not Steve Liebring, Steve Schneider.
There's a vacancy on the Green Committee. 4 applicants were received to fill the vacancy. All our current POA members in good standing. The Green Committee met and discussed all 4 applicants. They voted and recommend John Keeglin to fill the vacancies. However, after they met, and they haven't met since, 2 more applications were received after they made their recommendations. They haven't met since the whole COVID thing has happened. But it is recommended the Board of Directors approve the appointment of John Keeglin to the Green Committee contingent upon execution of confidentiality agreement effective immediately.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, if we have first and second, before we go further, and do we have any member comments, Lynn? I'm going to check with you.
I do not have any member comments right this second. I
Okay,
don't know if there's any in the chat box for Eric.
any board comments? Okay, we have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, none, 5 in favor, none against, motion carried.
Okay, we're on to 6.3, approval, ratify funding for work on the Northgate RFID reader. Steve Schneider, this is for you again.
So in in January of 2020, the Northgate decal entry lane was converted to RFID transport access for the residents. After initial week of conversion, decision was made to install an additional RFID reader in the left guest lane. When approaching the gate, that's the lane typically used by guests to allow a faster entry for residents. The original BAI was for $24,663 from the CIP fund. The additional RFID reader is $4,592.36 from the capital improvement 05670. Is recommended that board directors vote to ratify the purchase of and installation of the Northgate RFID reader in the amount of $4,592.36 from CIP fund 05670.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, do we have any member comments? Lynn? Eric?
I do not have any. Do you have any, Eric?
No.
Okay, any board comments?
Just a question, Steve, how are things going at the North Gate? I know when we first made the conversion, we had some really awful lines. Of course, I know we're in shutdown right now, so it's different, but is this going to significantly improve the ability of people to get through the North Gate?
So this was an addition because we're having such long lines at the gate. One problem with the North Gate is there are only 2 lines, and the oversized vehicles, the tall box trucks or semi trucks, if you will, they're coming in. They utilize that right lane that the RFID was originally converted for. This conversion allows for our residents or members to use either lane depending on the line. I go in and out of driveway probably a half a dozen times a day at least. I've yet to see the kind of lines that we saw when we first converted to the RFID.
Okay, thank you.
I agree. I use that gate all the time and it's so much better. So thank you, Steve.
Okay, any other board comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None. Okay, 5 in favor, none against, motion carried.
Okay, 6.5 CIP for pool building addition project. Steve, again?
No, we're at Roadrunner Park.
6.2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought I was out already. Okay.
I saw ratify RFID, too many R's, right? Okay, CIP funding for Roadrunner Park ADA ramp project. Thank you, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
I'm at home. I'm gonna have to run out and get my lights turned on now that it's gotten dark. Okay,
So for many years, there's been a project that works to place a permanent restroom building at Roadrunner Park to update our drawings to current building codes for a building permit and to continue to make our older amenities accessible. We would like to install an ADA ramp down to the park pavilion and future restroom. Funding requested includes retaining walls, 135 feet of ADA pathway permits, survey staking, railings, and irrigation reconfiguration. The fiscal impact is $54,760 from CIP 05670. Staff requests the board of directors approve the funding for the amount of $54,760 plus a 5% contingency from the CIP fund 05670.
Okay, do I hear a motion? I'd like to make a motion to approve the Roadrunner Park ADA ramp.
I'll second.
Okay, any other board, any member comments? Okay, none, any board comments?
Yes, I have one actually. The amount that you're requesting, the $54,760, does not match the low bid. Is the difference due to permits or what?
Hang on one second. Let me bring up my notes, Jeannie. So there's an additional amount for permits and also for surveyed staking. And to tell you the truth, I took a little bit of a stab in the dark. Permits, I estimated for about $1,200, and then the balance of that would be for survey and staking. And that's going to be based on a time and material basis.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to speak on behalf of this. I think it's really important that our community continue to take steps to make our amenities accessible. And I noticed on the Facility Planning Committee's recommendations that this project is noted as being under design and recommended for 2021. So I feel very comfortable in approving this request.
I think this is a great thing. It kind of reminds us that we were kind of designed in 1955 and built in 1960, because some of the designs that we have in place are things that aren't normal for today. So it's nice to see ourselves not only just do these things to make upgrade our facilities, but bring us kind of into the 21st century where we can, basically modernize our facilities. So that would be the 21st century. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? 5 in favor, none against, motion carried.
Okay, 6.5, CIP funding for pool building addition project. Do I hear a motion?
Do you want him to read the background?
Oh,
first,
go
Deb?
ahead, Steve. Go ahead and read it.
So since the pool building was built in 2001, pool use equipment has been stored in ugly Costco-style plastic storage sheds. These could be seen from the large restaurant bar area while viewing our beautiful lake. Since we're wrapping up the beautiful pool deck and replastering project, we would like to fix this to close a approximately 300 square foot addition matching the rest of the existing structure. The building will extend towards the lodge while remaining the same width. This addition would include storage and an employee area. The funding request includes excavation matching building addition, matching wrought iron fencing, landscaping design, and permits. The fiscal impact is $88,067 from the CIP funds 05670. Staff requests the board of directors approve the funding amount not to exceed $88,067 plus a 5% contingency from the CIP fund 05670.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve this?
Make the motion, we, board of directors approve funding for the amount not to exceed 067 plus a 5% contingency from the CIP fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any member comments?
No, sorry.
I'm looking at the Zooms to see if there's anything. Okay, or the chat.
I'm gonna show a picture real quick of the area. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Can you see the pool now?
Yes.
The area in question, I'm circling it with my cursor. You can see this is restrooms on the back side of this. There's a small office here. There's kind of a canvas awning that was added on this end because they ran out of room years ago. There was a Costco plastic shed here, and the idea is basically continue the building to the limit of the bigger than the fenced area here, be the same size as what you see here, just in addition to fill up this dirt space here. I had that open on my computer. I figured I might as well show it to you. So. Lynn, you have the thing again. Okay.
Is that it, Eric?
Yeah, sorry.
Any other board comments?
Yes, I noticed once again that the 88,067 does not match the low bid, and I was wondering what the difference was for.
So the additional is for, and I'm sorry I didn't include that in the board books, is for engineering and architectural, and also a ad for the wrought iron and irrigation reconfiguration for that area.
What design still needs to be completed? I thought it was done.
And the design is done, correct.
Okay, then what's the cost for design included in the 88,067 for?
I would like to reallocate those funds into this project.
Okay, so they were spent from somewhere else.
Correct.
I have a couple questions. Is this the first thing? Is there going to be additional expenses in terms of furniture, equipment to go in there, or anything else to get it finished and ready to go? And the second question is: this something we can get done before the pool reopens? Understanding we don't know when the pool's going to be able to reopen.
Well, I didn't hear the first part of it. You've had a tendency to break up a lot tonight, Chris, for some reason. So I didn't hear the first part of the question.
Bad, so if you answer that question, if somebody could repeat, I'd appreciate it.
He wanted to know if it's something that we could get done during when the pool is closed, and also if the cost for furnishing, for equipment and furnishing has been included. Shelving, desks, countertops, etc.
I'll answer the equipment portion. Did not include there's a refrigerator, there's a coffee maker, there's a couple microwave, a couple small items. We believe we can take that out of the normal operating fund because there's very small expenditures. These are not, huge commercial style refrigerator and microwave. It's just something that you'd see in this apartment style stuff. As far as getting the project done, we would like to start it. Unfortunately, we don't have a end date to our closure because it's not up to us. So we would do everything we can to at least maybe start the project, but we don't want maybe to impede the total use of the pool. So we can take a small break during the latter part of the summer while our members use our newly renovated pool. Eric, do you have anything to add to that portion?
I think you covered it.
Is there any reason why it cannot be delayed?
No, we're permitted, we're designed, we're ready to go. We're shovel ready.
So if we want to put it off for a couple of months, there's no problem with doing that.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing I said offline, that we could certainly postpone it. Right now, the facility's closed. It's an ideal time to do it. The plastic shed has been thrown in the trash because it was literally falling apart. we're hopefully we're going to be able to open this facility sooner than later. It would be nice to have everything that needs to be done at this facility done when we do that. Obviously, while we're closed is an ideal time to do construction rather than while we're open. And when we can open is kind of an unknown. So we could postpone it or we could move ahead. Again, it comes out of capital improvement funds, which is a bucket of money not affected by the operating fund or the current economic situation.
I mean, a few months takes us right into the middle of summer. Why would we want to do it in the middle of summer? The pool, it's either, you know, we do it now while the pool's closed or we wait till next year.
Well, we could wait. That's my question is we could, or that's my concern is we can wait. We can wait until the pool closes again to do this. There's no reason to have to do it now.
And
Except
we can say
time
that
is-
about any project. I mean,
Time is money. Time is money. A year delay, materials may cost more, labor may cost more. We may have to reapply for a permit. There's, you know, anything can happen in that period of time.
Or we could get cheaper bids because material costs are going down.
or they might go up. I mean,
Yeah.
we know what it is today, and we have a great opportunity in the pool being closed and being able to get it done with, I think, the least amount of impact. So hopefully we can move forward with this and get it done and have it all done at once and done right.
Was there any, did you allow for the vending machines in there? I know that the vending machines didn't function in very well. The ice cream melted and the Cokes got warm, and the people were having to run a little cash register, and it was very awkward and very time consuming. Did we make any allowances for vending machines where they could be, you know, ice cream machines could be put there so the staff didn't have to be constantly messing with the ice cream and the sodas? Was that part of the design?
So you mean the staff in the office?
The staff in the pool room.
I'll let Lynn. I'm gonna pass this.
I don't know if Carrie's on to listening, but we had vending machines. We had lots of issues. So we went to more of a snack bar setup where we do have staff, we have refrigerators, ice cream, freezer, and we do sell snacks via staff. If they planned on moving it into that area, I'd have to confirm with Carrie, but we do want to still have the snack bar. It actually, we do quite a bit of snack sales out of the pool. But I wouldn't want to go, I don't believe that they're wanting to go back to vending machines. Those were more trouble than they were worth.
And I don't believe it says this in your action item, but the pool is one of our most used amenities, and we track the number of visitors, and last season we had 50,000 visitors to this amenity, and we just spent a large amount of money giving it a complete 20-year refresh, you know, update, facelift, and we have a little patch of dirt where this thing is supposed to go, and at some point I don't see putting another shed there, so we're going to do it. We're going to have to do it at some point.
Okay, any more comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm opposed.
I'm opposed.
Okay, 3 in favor, 2 against, motion carried.
Okay, 6.6, funding for Happy Cat playground equipment, Steve Snyder.
We're continuing to make improvements. The campground has been requested to replace the outdated playground equipment to new modern equipment similar to Sunset Beach, Holiday Harbor, Indian Beach, and Sierra Park. There's a few other parks that we updated equipment in 2015, 2016. Activities department did a bunch of research and presented it to the Recreation Committee. The Recreation Committee recommended the installation of the playground equipment at Happy Camp. Price includes playground, shade, rubber fall protection, and installation. For reference, because it is a huge price tag, the Holiday Harbor cost was $38,000, and that was in 2015, so that was 5 years ago. And Sunset Beach was $32,000, and that was in 2016. we are actually currently working for receiving bids for the Moonstone Beach in the near future. Our plan is to get the portion of lake that right now has very minimal playground equipment updated, just like the other side towards Holiday Harbor and Sunset, because on this side of the causeway, North Causeway, there's very little playground equipment for youngsters to utilize. So fiscal impact is $52,150 from the Repair and Replacement Fund 02670. Staff requests the Board of Directors approve the funding of $152,150 plus a 5% contingency from the Repair and Replacement Fund 02670.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any board comments?
Did you want to take comments from the members first? Are there any of those?
Oh, any members?
We do have a couple member comments, one from Diane Whiteside and one from Alex Cook. I don't know if they want to just hop on and do their comments.
Not sure Diane is on the call or on the meeting.
Do you want to read her comment, or do you?
Yeah, please read her comment.
Okay, I can find it.
I have the email open if you would like me to read it.
No, I got it. Let's see this. I'll make a motion that my Outlook stops glitching all the time.
Two separate buckets.
Did I hear Diane?
No.
I heard somebody.
I heard somebody.
That's me.
No, it was a woman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you have the
Sounds like
email
Bob.
open? Do you have the email open, Lynn? I can't.
I do have the email open. Yes, sir.
I was being more.
Oh, okay. It says, okay, funding for Happy Camp Playground, item 6.6. Many companies have been hit hard financially due to COVID-19 and are postponing non-essential capital projects, postponing bonus, etc., in order to preserve their cash and capital. Has the board discussed the potential revenue shortfall due to the shutdown and what cost-saving measures or spending controls we can implement to offset this potential shortfall? Have you considered the playground and other non-essential capital projects this year be postponed until we know the full impact the shutdown has caused our finances? Thank you.
Okay, and then Alex had a comment.
Yes.
Alex Cook, 3779007. Thank you, board. I don't think everybody that knows me that's been working with the POA and the community for a long time that I've been championing for playground equipment and more activities for the youth on the north side of the community. One of those is Happy Camp for sure. I was from the beginning trying to get it renovated back in 15 years ago, started the project, started pushing for it. That being said, the campground club raised $6,000 back 12 years ago and replaced all that upper area with grass, the hardscape, and horseshoe pits. In the meantime, through different landscaping companies, it fell apart. It got lopped off contracts. There's no grass. There's nothing up there anymore. It's dead dirt. And at this point, we're really against our own board rules on the sense that it's not landscaped anymore. That being said, for the last 3 years, I've been talking to anybody to listen to me that I think playground equipment should be put into Happy Camp. This came to us and we were on the rec committee asked to task this problem roughly 18 months ago. We've been kind of working slowly through the process. And then finally, activities department presented something to us. The rec committee voted for it. And this is why it's on there. At this point in time, there's not a single playground on past Sierra Park outside of Galt Field and 2 swing sets that really, if our insurance company pretty much knew they were there, we probably would not be in good standing. So at some point in time, we do need to throw some money at one of our amenities that really doesn't cost our community much. And the more people we have there, the more money it makes. Thank you.
Thanks, Alec.
Lynn, is that it for
I
outside
don't have
comments?
any additional. Let me see if I got any more emails. Was there any in the chat, Eric?
From Joe regarding the golf course, so not on this item.
I actually have one more thing to add to this BAI. Sorry that I didn't include this, but the campground club also donated over $5,000 towards this project. So I could amend my recommendation to exclude that amount towards this project.
And I don't show any other comments.
Okay. Board comments then.
Yeah, I do. I'm aware of this being on the Recreation Committee, and they were very supportive of this project. And as Alex has stated, he's been looking for this for quite a long time. So that's why I have no problem approving it.
Okay.
Alex, you think, is this a good location for the playground equipment where we don't want to interfere with anything that should be done to the future to that park? Is this going to interfere with anything in the future, or do you think it's located in a great spot?
It's
That's for Alex.
I'm
sorry. Kind of asking Alex, but.
Oh, Dale, it's located about 15 feet towards the steep hill from where the swing set is from now. So it's generally in the same spot than it was before. We just needed a little more depth for fall cushioning. So we had to move it just a little bit into that sandy area. It's closer to the flagpole that's there currently.
Okay. Now you think this is a great place for it?
Yeah, I think it's the only place for it there, actually.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. Steve's smiling already. Okay, so in one of the quotes, it says it does not include the owner furnished sunshade. Where is that coming from?
So let me pull up I don't know what page it's on your board book. Let me pull up your board book.
Page 135.
Okay.
It says install owner furnished 6-column shade structure.
So on page 134, you have the estimate for the 28 by 77 foot rectangle shade structure, 14-foot clearance.
Okay, so it's $35,470 for the shade structure.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, and then I guess one of the things I kind of am hesitant about is, one, I'm a huge fan. We definitely need playground equipment on the north side. I've been saying that for quite a while now too, as well as Alex. But I kind of thought we were talking about maybe doing more of a master plan for the campground. We've got the restrooms, we want to relocate the offices. Now we have this playground equipment. I thought we were going to kind of take a step back and look at master planning the area. Also, I'm concerned, we want to use repair and replacement, but the total value of this includes what I would consider some capital improvements. I mean, repair and replacement replaces in kind or to current cost. So, I don't know how much just to replace some swing sets. I know we can't do sand, but what's the cost to replace it in kind versus all this other stuff we're doing? And should it be split funded?
Most of our repair and replacement projects are upgrades from older amenities.
Okay.
I don't see this as any different. However, the board could vote to split funds however they want, as long as it's, it falls within the legal bounds. I could see how this portion of this could be taken from CIP. But also, I would argue that the entire amount could be taken from repair and replacement funds, because we are replacing a playground, even though it's an older, outdated, cheap set with a more elaborate. One thing, the reason why it's more elaborate is current code requires for fall protection with the rubber mat and certain plastics and shade in the area is positioned. And as far as the master plan, we are planning on doing the restrooms. We have a plan that we are working on for the upper portion. This doesn't interfere with that plan or that layout. That would be presented to the rec committee. Actually, the rec committee has been working with operations a little bit on that.
But it has not gone through FPC at all?
No.
Okay. And we are with the understanding that the existing equipment that we're replacing is basically 2 swing seats. So we're going way above and beyond the equipment that's there.
Jeannie, I'd like to answer that. It's swings, it's horseshoe pits, it's, as Alec mentioned, it's a whole landscaped area that is followed by the wayside. And if you look at, you mentioned in kind, and if you look at our main gate project several years ago, it's kind of preceded me. We replaced a main gate that was built in 1969 with a completely different main gate that is what it is today. And we actually had legal opinion that weighed in on this and said that it kind of the opposite, that it doesn't need to be in kind, that you can upgrade with new technologies and improved amenities and improved facilities and more modern facilities. And so I think that when you take a recreation area that has a fire pit and a lawn and some swings and 2 horseshoe pits, and it's basically a pile of rocks now, that what we're doing is considered a reasonable upgrade to what is there.
Yeah, but this doesn't include horseshoe pits or anything like that. This is just the playground equipment.
It's a new design. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be in kind, as you're saying, is what the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Chris, you want to say something?
I just wanted to check in. Is it realistic to think that the folks that live on the north side are going to use this, and their children are going to use this facility, the campground? We have a lot of day users out there.
I think people will drive to use it, but I don't think it's going to have any impact on the revenue from the campground. I don't think more people are going to camp there because there's a playground, but I think there are families that will go from the north side to go play on it. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
4 in favor, 1 against, motion carried.
Okay, next thing. All right, approval, ratify payroll protection program fund transfer.
Susan,
I don't know
if
if Susan's here or.
Well, I think I recognize her phone number, and if Susan, if you're still on, I unmuted you. Hello, Susan. I think she's there, but Susan, are you there? Okay, I can read it. Okay, regarding the payroll protection program fund transfer, a little background: the Paycheck Protection Program (PPP) authorized up to $349 billion in forgivable loans to small businesses to pay their employees during the COVID-19 crisis. The loan amounts will be forgiven as long as the loan proceeds are used to cover payroll costs and most mortgage, interest, rent, and utility costs over the 8-week period after the loan is made and employee and compensation levels are maintained. Fiscal impact. The fiscal impact has been contemplated and involves the transfer of $1,103,000. Somebody needs to mute themselves, please.
Thank you. I walked down the aisle where the toilet paper was, and I go, oh my God, there's toilet paper. Oh no.
Whoever just joins needs to mute their phone, please. The fiscal impact has been contemplated and involves the transfer of $1,103,000 into a new bank account established at Seacoast Commerce Bank in order to track the funding and disbursement of these specific loan proceeds. The transfer of $1,103,000 from the loan proceeds is being presented to the board as a gesture of transparency involving the transfer of funds into an appropriate bank accounts in order to mitigate the financial effects of the COVID-19 crisis. It is suggested that the board ratify the transfer of $1,103,103,000 on April 20th, 2020 into Seacoast Commerce Bank.
Okay, do I have a motion? Any motion?
Yeah, motion that the board ratify the transfer of 1.103 million on April 20th, 2020 into the Seacoast, it's actually into a new Seacoast Commerce Bank account, separate from all the rest of POA funds.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any member comments? Lynn?
Don't show any. No, sir.
Eric, we see any member comments?
No.
Okay, any board comments? Okay, I think, I'm just happy that we're able to have the funds so we can keep our people employed. We care about our employees. We'd like to keep them to have minimal impact from this COVID. We know that the whole United States is being impacted by this, and we can only do the little things we can do. And this is a little thing that POA can do to keep some income going into the hands of our employees. So that's my comment. All right, no more board comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5 in favor, none against, motion carried.
Okay, 28 reading rule revision PC 3.2 first floor elevation for lakefront lots. Is Cheryl available?
I believe she's on the call, yes.
Yes, I am.
Hey,
Good
Cheryl.
evening. How are you? So the ACC committee has been going through the rules, and we want to make sure that we're updating them to ensure that they are correct. And so we have one that we would like to be able to update for a 28-day reading. It's PC 3.2 for first floor elevation for lakefront lots. In the actual rule, it's talking about that this is something to do with FEMA. But if you look at the actual CC&R section 7 under size and placement of residence and structure, it doesn't say anything about that. It says that we shall govern first floor elevation on lakefront lots, which is number A, first floor elevation of 1397.5 MSL on all lakefront lots. So what we are requesting for the board to do is to allow us to remove that portion of the rule. There is no fine amount. This is for information only. So it is recommended the board of directors approve the 28-day rule revision to PC 3.2 first floor elevation for lakefront lots as attached. And there you can see in the red where it's striked out, it's the 100-year flood.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the 28-day read related to first floor elevation for lakefront lots.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A board comments? Oh, excuse me,
Sure.
member comments. Do we have any member comments? Lynn, Eric?
I do not show any member comments, I'm sorry.
Me neither.
Okay, this is a 28-day read, so members, you can take the time to read this, see how this is going to impact you, and let us know your comments over the month. Board comments?
This is an important move because this was a confusion that was added to an appeal that I was a part of recently. I think it's important to get that 100-year flood elevation out there because it's not part of our CC&Rs. But at the same time, as we look to consolidate our CC&Rs and think about how we might want to improve them, I think it is important that we reconsider the 1397.5 elevation limit for first floors. And I'll just stop with that. I think it is something that we want to think about.
And Charlie, this is to some degree taking two conflicting statements, one from that our CC&Rs, which is our really controlling document, And then there's our rules, which are really subservient to the CCNRs, and we're putting them in line with the CCNRs. Is that the intent here?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Any other board comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Hearing none, 5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay. That does it for the agenda items that are board action items. Let's move on to member comments on issues. Just a comment, please work with us so we can communicate with you and get you so you have your time to talk. Your time will be limited to 3 minutes. We want to have time for members to talk, and we think in 3 minutes most people can say what they have to say. Just a comment. The board cannot give you a lot of feedback or comments or answer your questions on your 3 minutes. These are not agenda items, so we're somewhat limited on what we can say. So because we don't say anything, don't get the impression we don't like it, we don't like what you're saying, we don't like who you are. That's not what we're doing. We're here to comply with the rules, and the rules will give us a chance to listen. We can provide small comments back. Often we'll say, here's the staff member that addresses that. Feel free to contact them. Sometimes a board member will say, I've listened to you and I thank you for the presentation, but the comments will be brief. So let's go ahead and let's start with some comments. Who's first?
Well, I have a comment from Diane Whiteside that was email. I'm not sure if this was a member comment, but it was sent at the same time. Is she on the call or on?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the question was, are there any plans to improve the LED signs at the entry gates and above the guard gates? Was the question, I guess. And Eric's
Appreciate it,
responded.
but Diane, it was mostly a question.
Right.
So board member comments is really not about questions and answers. Feel free to contact the staff.
I've already replied to her.
Eric did respond. She just happened to send them both at the same time, so I wasn't 100% sure if it was a member comment.
Yeah, Diane, I do appreciate your input.
Sorry, go ahead, Dale.
That's all I had to say is, Diane, we appreciate your input. It's just, that's the type of questions we can't really address.
And then we received a member comment from Joe Kamation. Does he want to speak?
Yes, am I on?
Yes.
You're on.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to congratulate Dale for 4 years of service on the board and the community, and really appreciate everything he's done, and we're going to miss him. I'm, expecting to be sitting in his chair, not in the president's chair, but sitting on the board next month, and I look forward to that and look forward to serving in the community. I also want to let Jim Berringham know that thank him for his service as well. It 2 years and 2 more years looks like we're going to work together. So I'm excited and looking forward to that. But the reason that I did want to comment was in reviewing the paperwork for this meeting, I looked at the financial report for the community, and one thing that stood out to me was in the golf course utility costs for the 10 months of the report from May through February of this year. We had spent $67,000, almost $68,000 less on utilities on the golf course in the 10 months, and we're on probably pace to meet the $80,000 that I'm assuming and expecting that is in direct correlation to the lake on pool number 13 being shut off and no water being put in there and no water being lost. So it's really just a comment to say that the numbers that were projected a year ago, 2 years ago, appear to have materialized into real numbers that the community is saving. And I think that's a great thing. And I also will put a pitch in for the irrigation system that is proposed to save an additional $80,000 to $90,000, maybe close more than that, if that project is approved and implemented soon. Anyway, that's my comment, and thank you, board, for your time and your service.
All right, Joe, thank you. Anyone else, Lynn?
I do not see any more in the email unless there's some in the chat box or chat.
I don't have any.
I believe you said that Matt Poland had something he wanted to say. Is he gone?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
No, that's there. I see him.
Hi, Matt.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Well, I like the virtual format a lot better. Makes it a lot easier to join, and I can multitask, through the boring procedural stuff. I wanted to make a comment about the wave break kind of metal tent looking thing that got installed in front of the lighthouse. I think it's really ugly, and I think it reduces the natural beauty of Canyon Lake, and I would be very disappointed to see a bunch of them added throughout the community. I don't think it would be a positive thing. So that's my first comment. I would like to, a lot of people that I've talked to have agreed with me. So before more of them are added, like it looked like in the budget plan, I'd like to request that the board do a survey of some sort so that we're just not adding stuff that makes the lake look dumpier and wrecks one of the best, photo spots in the lake, taking a picture of the lighthouse. Second thing I wanted to comment on is all the extra docks that are planned to be added to the community. The boats that sit at the dock, are not the most maintained. There's lots of tattered covers that blow around when the wind blows. They don't get used very often, even on holidays. I don't see why we need to add more docks to the lake and continue to, just make it a parking lot for, majority of unmaintained boats. So that's my final comment, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Matt, thank you. Lynn,
I
Eric?
don't believe I have any more. Do you have any more, Eric?
I do not.
Okay. There we go. Okay, moving on to the next agenda item. Let's see, we got non-comments. All right, executive reports.
Yes, sir.
Liz?
Okay. Today's executive session was called to order at 2:08 p.m. Items discussed on the agenda included one member-related item. There was an update provided from legal on several legal matters. The board held discussion on 3 third-party contract agreement discussion items, and there were 2 personnel matters discussed. The meeting concluded at 5:23 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Lynn. Association reports, Eric?
Okay, I'm going to be brief since I talked a lot about the our goals and accomplishments for the year. I do want to talk about kind of the topic of the day. As Dale mentioned, there are no current city or county or state orders preventing us from opening our beaches. So our beaches, we have some signage and some delineators and cones to take down tomorrow. We'll be doing that, and later tomorrow the beaches should be open in the next 48 hours. All the restrooms in the community should also be open. I've been following all day that the Riverside County Board of Supervisors, they met almost 11 hours today, and they had about 6 hours of public commentary about trying to open things up and open businesses up. They actually adjourned their meeting. This affects all of us, and it's honestly for us, the last month has really been a day-to-day, hour-by-hour, week by week. Things have been changing almost daily for us. And we kind of expected today that the Riverside County would overturn some of their health orders. They met for 11 hours. like I said, and the latest is that they're planning to have another meeting on Friday, agency meeting. And the reason for them postponing till Friday is they don't have enough clarity on what the governor's plans are. And so it's kind of been trickle up, trickle down. Everybody's kind of waiting for the next agency uphill to decide what they're doing. And so the county health officials, they made some changes to their orders last week. We're trying to keep up with those as to when masks are required and when they're not, and what sports, you know, can you jog without a mask? And yes, you can if you're with your family. And it's been a blizzard of rules, and it's almost been impossible to keep up with. But the expectation is that by Friday now that county will probably rescind some of the 4 health orders that are in place and defer to state level orders. And so it's kind of looking, all signs are that some of these mask restrictions and social distancing restrictions may be lifted later this week. We really don't know. The only good news for us is that we have been able to open our golf course again with a lot of limitations. We've opened tennis with a lot of limitations, pickleball with a lot of limitations. And we may find out a week from now that the restrictions get worse, but all I can say is stay tuned, and we're basically at the mercy of city, county, and state orders in that order. And we're following those orders to the letter. Even if they change every day, we're adjusting. We urge our members to do the same. We're still kind of in the middle of a pandemic, and you know, these orders are in place for a reason. And even if they do make a change on Friday, I think it's probably going to be a long time before we all get back to normal. And I really look forward to that. I hope that we can open our beautiful new pool sooner than later. I hope people can play golf and ride with their family members in a golf cart. We don't like these things any more than anybody else, but you know, baby steps. And so all I really want to say is it looks like our beaches will be open this weekend, and please don't take advantage of that situation. The city and the county are watching, and if social distancing and mask rules are still in place, you still need to abide by those rules. And if people don't do that, it's likely that we're just a company, a private corporation, but a public agency like the city or the county can take those things away from us again. So I think that's really all I want to get into today. We talked a lot about what's been happening. We put out a business update this week. It goes into detail about our financial and operational status during this time. We did get our PPP loan, as I mentioned. That's helping us continue to pay our employees through this time. It's been a very challenging, unusual time, and we have an amazing team that's adapted really well. And hats off to everybody that works here, because it's been much more difficult to work under these conditions than not. And thank you again to Dale and Jim for all your service on the board. And it's been a real pleasure working with both of you. Dale, we'll miss you. Jim, it looks like we're going to see a little more of you probably. And I urge everybody to read the written staff reports and the published agenda. So thank you.
Eric, real quick, do we have a number on the voting status? How are we doing on quorum? If you could cover that in your report.
The website was down an hour ago. I'll try to check it again, but
We were at 1,040 yesterday, I think, sir.
which is pretty good.
Pretty good. We need 1,600 though, so, and
Just want to encourage people to vote. We'd like to get the quorum resolved and get the votes in and get the new board in place. So if you haven't voted, feel free to drop it in the mail. If you can't drop it in the mail, you can bring it down on the voting day and drop it off. You've got to be there. What time does it close? 9 in the morning? You got to be there before 9 then?
there's a voting period from 8 to 9 outside of the lodge. There will not be people allowed into the lodge. And then there's the ballot box at Bluebird Hall that we're doing this year. So you have time between now and the 14th to drop your ballot off and vote.
So 3 ways to vote. You can go to Bluebird, you can mail it, or you can come down to Holiday Bay Room and drop it off before 9 in probably another mail slot, but that's what we can do. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Corporate Counsel. Sean?
Yes, I'm here. Hello?
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, everyone. We don't have any specific updates other than the Riverside Superior Court is still effectively shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We're still working around that, but kind of a fluid situation, and it is impacting any active litigation because of the shutdown. The last thing I'll say is thank you very much, Dale, for your service on the board. It was a real pleasure working with you. You've done a great job on the board, and again, just wanted to thank you very much for your tireless efforts. Same to Jim, but I understand the message goes out a little bit more clearly to Dale. So thanks again.
Thank you. Okay, Bill, Community Patrol report.
Hello, everyone, board members, community members. Today, I'd just like to reiterate the status of the amenities around the community, just to expand a little on what Eric was talking about earlier. For one, the lake is open for boating and fishing. The golf course is open, but with restrictions, of course, such as only 1 person per golf cart. But the country club building itself is open, but the restaurant remains closed. The tennis courts are open with restrictions. Please see the Tennis Pro or the POA website for specifics. The pickleball courts are open with restrictions. Please see the POA website for specifics. The basketball courts are open. The dog parks are open. All parks are open with restrictions, which are also now on the summer hours. All playground equipment is off limits. Tables and beaches are off limits. And all beaches are closed except for Indian Beach. And again, I reiterate, this is how we stand at this moment. Of course, it may change tomorrow, and we'll try to keep you updated on those.
Bill, I think you need to clarify, Bill, I think you need to clarify what you just said. There was an announcement at the beginning of this meeting about the beaches.
Sure. At this moment, I haven't received an order to open all the beaches, but
Eric,
I'm sure I will soon.
Please, I don't want there to be any confusion.
Eric, you want to comment, or you want me to come in? Bill, we opened the beaches for the most part.
Okay.
So that's been done. Again, we're asking the community to keep socially distanced and use masks when appropriate. But as far as use of the beach, we hope that the members go down and use it responsibly, and we hope that the city never shuts them down again.
I agree.
And I want to clarify. I think Steve sent an email during this meeting that you might not have received yet, Bill, but that is true.
Okay. Well, I stand corrected on the beaches. Then all beaches are now open. But the tables and the benches are still off limits, and all playground equipment is also off limits. Happy Camp also remains closed. Unfortunately, the lodge and the new pool remains closed. The restaurant remains closed at the lodge, and the senior center remains closed as well. Now, regarding services, though, both the Community Patrol and the Marine Patrol offices are open. Feel free to come by if necessary. We only ask that you please wear a mask if you do. And regarding the gates, there are no special entry procedures at the gates, but all the guards are practicing social distancing rules as much as possible. And that's pretty much it. As I said, if things are changing on a daily basis, we'll do our best to keep you updated. If you have any questions whatsoever on anything that I've covered here, or any other questions that might not have been covered, feel free to call my office at extension 410. And then last but not least, Dale, we'll miss you. It was a pleasure working with you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, staff reports are as written. Eric, you have them typed up. Are they on the web?
They're in the packet, sir.
They're in
Okay.
our agenda packet that's always published. Yes.
It's always on the web. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We could do staff reports. We could be all here for another hour as we go through them, but they're written and there's some pretty good information. So please go to the site and look at them. All right, the next item on the list is board comments. Which board member wants to go first?
Oh, I'll go first. Let's see. Thanks again to and Alex for that campground project. I don't think it was probably identified very well, and not having an in-person meeting, we didn't have the opportunity to do what has been done in the past many times over with the presentation of donation checks. But it's my understanding that $5,200 was donated to the campground playground project. So don't want to miss out on that opportunity to thank them again for their donation towards making something better here for the community and the members getting together to raise that money. With respect to our COVID-19, you know, the rules that are imposed are being set by the county, the state, the city, and we as a POA are just here to comply. And we encourage all of our members to listen and read those rules, and they are ever changing, and do your best to comply to their orders. There are code enforcement people out and sheriff's department people that are out that are city people that will issue tickets if they see something that is outside the bounds of what's allowed. So just be safe, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Okay. Anyone want to go next?
I'll go. Sorry, I was scratching my eye there. I just want to, once again, Dale, thank you for your leadership this last year. It's been a good year. It's been a fun year for the most part. Second, I just want you guys to let you know that probably I'll be one of the first ones down there using the Happy Camp playground with my granddaughter, but I thought we could have delayed it a little bit, but I will be down there playing because I fully support the Recreation Committee and what they're trying to do. And vote, vote, vote.
Okay. Jim, do you have anything?
Yeah, Dale, this is my comments. When I moved to Canyon Lake in 2012, you were kind of one of the first persons I ever met here at the tennis courts. And when I moved here, I never dreamed of being on the board. But in your own subtle way, when you put me on the Recreation Committee, that kind of got me into where I ended up. And I want to thank you for that. The last 2 years for me personally has been one of the highlights of my life. Knowing you for the last 8 years has been a wonderful thing. We've worked on some projects together. And having you as our president this last year, I appreciate that. And again, 4 years on a board is a long time. But again, thank you so much for your service and all the best.
Thank you, Jim. That was great. All right, Chris.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I really appreciate all the interest and comments that we received on this virtual meeting. Some have said it'd be nice if we could figure out how to do this when we get back together, and I think that would be a great idea. I think it's really important that we connect with our community and we hear from them. So I do appreciate everybody taking time to do that. You know, there's a lot of information out there about what we can do and what we can't do, and maybe what people are disappointed that we haven't done. But just to take 1 minute and say we are regulated by the state of California. That's why we have lawyers sitting watching us. The Data Stewardship Act is pretty detailed in what we're allowed to do. And I just wanted to say that, Dale, under your leadership and working our way through all those regulations, I think that we have done a very, very good job of carrying out the business of this community in a way that's legal and honorable. You know, our assessments are set really carefully. And I know there's been plenty of talk about raising our assessments this year at this time. But there is a long process that the Finance Committee goes through to make sure that our operations budget is correct. Our reserves are necessary to maintain our community, and all those things have to work together in the long term. And so I'm pleased that we're moving forward that, even though I am very, very concerned about the folks that are having difficulty with those assessments, and I'm pleased that our community is able to offer them payment plans. You know, Dale, I have to thank you for talking me into doing this. Now, I'm not sure anybody else would thank you for that, but you did. You approached me and asked me to run for this position that I was thinking about doing. And I have found it to be very rewarding because you've led a board that has brought us through a transition period. And I think we're going to see that transition continue. There's better openness and transparency. We have much better communication with our membership through the website and the weekly newsletter. The 5-year plan that has now been introduced by the FPC is going to give us an opportunity to have a lot more conversation about the future of this community. And I'm very encouraged about that, and I want to give you credit for making that happen. Taking us back to being one community, I think that's a really important goal that we should all have. So thank you very much, Dale. I hope you'll stay actively engaged in committees, and looking forward to your counsel as we move forward. And again, of course, I'm looking forward to next year and working with next year's board.
You're muted, Dale.
Bumping my mic. Oh, it bounces in, bounces out. There we are. I'd just like to say it's been an amazing 4 years. In some ways, it's been longer because I was on committees. I've got to know a number of you as I look at your pictures on the screen, and I appreciate that. I probably would have never been able to get to know you as well as I do now. I mean, I look at Lynn and Steve Liebring and Steve Schneider, and Tiffany and Tom, and it's just been great to be able to get to know you. It's this last couple of months of the presidency has been extremely difficult. How did we ever know that this disease was this infection was going to sweep the country? We never knew. We seem to be weathering rather well. I'm proud of our financial position. I'm proud that we're taking care of our employees. I really feel we're lucky to get some assistance to the government, so we can take care of our employees and let them take care of their families. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy about some of the reserves that we built up, and we know that some of the projects may have to be delayed if the finances in our association become a little more unpredictable. We are clearly in uncertain times. None of us on the board can say financially exactly where we're going to be at in 6 or 8 months, but we have a plan. We believe we will come out and we will do extremely well, and the community will be extremely sound. That's my belief. So I believe that this board has worked to protect the community's assets and to protect the community's stability, and I think that's one of the most important things we can do. The second thing I think that we've been working on is getting our amenities so people are proud to live here. People come in, they see the new pickleball courts, they see the gates, the fountains, and all of a sudden they feel like that's a place I want to be a part of. And it's been the committees over the last couple of years that have said, you know, we're going to take Canyon Lake and we're going to make it relative to today. We're going to make it a modern place that will bring members in that they want to come live. And not only will they want to come live, but they'll want to get involved and they'll want to take care of the amenities and use the amenities. So that was one of the great things that we were able to accomplish in the last couple of boards, was this ability to get these amenities up to date. Also, again, I can't believe the employees that I've met over the years. I know so many of you by name, and I work at a place, and to be honest, I'd trade all you in and trade the people I work with out in a heartbeat, because you guys are just amazing. For all you members that don't know them, we all know there's a bad day for employees or there's a misunderstanding. It all happens, but overall, this team of workers, and Eric leads them, it's just amazing. And one of the things about Eric that is most commendable is his staff. They like him. They enjoy him. They feel that he's valuable to their employment experience. And when your leader is someone you go and you say, hey, you know, I like going to work because I know my boss has got my back. That's one of the best things about going to work. And the same goes with this board. I've known people that have worked for the POA for a long time, and they'd say every board that comes in, we're just in fear. We just don't know what the new board's going to come in and do. Maybe they'll want to fire everybody, or maybe there's some of the personal agendas, or maybe some of them are just downright mean, right? So for the last couple of years, we've had a very stable board. The new board's coming in. You talk to the employees. None of them are losing sleep about the new board coming in, because they've experienced this board and they see that this continuity is going to stay in place. And just to the other 4 board members, just to let them know, the employees think you guys are great too. They're just amazed that the boards are so respectful for the employees. So the 4 of you should really kind of take be proud of that we don't have employees that say, oh no, the board members are coming in and they're going to start, firing us and threatening us and push us around. I never hear any of that. And I've heard that way in the past, but just, thank God you guys are so gracious. One thing I'd like to also thank is my family. This is fairly time consuming. Not only does it consume time when you're in meetings, but when you go home and you read the documents, you go on the web, you do a lot of searching, you're engaged in conversations with a lot of the members. My wife says, she looks at me and she says, she knows I'm thinking about the POA. And she says, I spend way too many hours contemplating the issues of the POA. And to be honest, that has been a burden on her and been a burden on my son. So I just want to say thank you to the family members that my wife stood beside me and hung in with me. And as far as the rest of the family, little Nick has gotten quite the education in civic behavior in the last 4 years, because he's been nose to nose with it for the past many years. So anyway, I just want to say thank you all for the experience, and thank you for allowing me to be helpful to make this community a better place. That's it. Okay. On to the next one. We have architectural appeals, and we have none of those, so that's not going to happen today. We can announce the next meeting dates. Tuesday, June 2nd at 2 o'clock will be executive session, and Tuesday, June 2nd at 6 o'clock will be regular session.
Just a question, is our next meeting day really the election date though? Next Thursday?
Yes, technically next Thursday is the annual member meeting.
Maybe Lynn, you could give a quick description of how the annual meeting is going to go. Is it going to be Zoom or?
Sure. Yes, it is going to be Zoom. I think you might have heard me mention earlier, the Inspector of Elections is actually going to be present at the lodge, but no members or anyone will be allowed in there. Having them on site to do the ballot counting should we make quorum. There will be a registration period between 8 and 9 where members can drop off ballots outside of the lodge. They'll probably be similar to the ballot box. It's recommended though that you get there earlier than later, or drop the ballot off in the mail. Either, I believe Friday's the deadline for mail. Otherwise you could take it to Bluebird Hall and drop it in the ballot box. Then if we make quorum on the 14th, next Thursday, we'll host the meeting. And if we don't, then we would have an alternate meeting that's tentatively scheduled for this Saturday, the 16th. And we would do the same thing. We are going to Zoom it. We are going to record it. Same standard procedure. We just cannot have members attending the meeting.
So you're not quite done yet, Dale.
Not quite.
One more day.
I got a meeting tomorrow too to fill in, so you're weaning me off slowly. So yeah, thank you. I guess one last comment I didn't talk about is at least this is very scary times for everyone, and everybody's, we're trapped at home. Our finances are uncertain. A lot of us are fearful, and a lot of us are kind of angry, and we need to really work to realize that the anger is really not going to help us. We want our businesses to open. We want to get people inside, but when they go inside, please wear a mask. Please keep your social distancing so that these businesses can be safe and people will know they're safe, and people will come and take part of the businesses. Because even if you open every business in Canyon Lake and people are inherently afraid of being with social people, the businesses aren't going to do well. And when people drive down and they see that you're in a business and you have a mask and you're keeping social distancing, that'll give a sense of comfort to the people that go into the center and think about doing business. So please, in these changing times, please try to help out your neighbors and help out the businesses. And when you go shopping, please keep the social distancing and the masks. That's my final comment. All right. Motion. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We adjourned at 8:18 p.m.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you all. Dale, we'll figure out how to get this to you.
Okay,
Push,
that sounds
push
good.
it in your camera.
Yeah, just take a picture and send the picture.
I already did. Look at your cell phone.
Okay.
There's some chats on here. I don't know if everybody saw.
Oh, there's one chat. Let's see.
Mike was saying that the HOA vote site's still down.
Oh, I'm guessing they must be updating the ballots. It was up yesterday. We both noticed that, Eric and I also today. So
Yeah, I logged on during the meeting tonight and I wasn't able to get there either.
okay, maybe they're updating all of them.
Yeah, I see Mike's post. Mike posted me, wished me good luck. So Mike, I appreciate you. Last year, after sitting in the president's seat for a year, I have a lot more empathy for what goes on as the president. So definitely an interesting year. Thank you for always kind of being my friend. So appreciate it. Okay.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Night, everybody.
Night, everybody.